What's going on, guys? And today I'm bringing you my review of Transformers Fall of Cybertron. And it's one of those games that I decided to try it out, play it, play this and that. And I gotta say, this game surprised me a lot, and I was like whoa, this game really just blow me up, not blow me up, blew me away how great it was, how the developers did a great job, making this game and everything like that. So Transformers Fall of Cybertron is the sequel to, I think it was War of Cybertron, something like that. I'm not sure, but it was developed by High Moon Studios and published by Activision, and it's a third person shooter, and which was pretty well done. And the story is the last days of Cybertron, the world of the Transformers, the Autobots and the Decepticons, and this is just like the last chapter of that of their planet before moving to our planet, to planet Earth. And so you take place the last few missions with the Autobots and the Decepticons. What's cool about the story is that not only you play the Autobots, which is Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Cliffjumper, all those. You also play characters from the Decepticons, Megatron. What was the other one? What was it? Damn it, Starscream. I can't think of anything right now. There's like a whole team. You play multiple enemies, not enemies, enemies, yeah, it depends where you at. Decepticons, and you played with their side of the stories, which is pretty cool. It's like, oh, this mission is going over here, you switch to their perspective, and vice versa. I think it was like many enemies. And so the story was good. I really like the story of you're familiar with the Transformers, whether you're not. The story was good. I thought High Moon Studios did a great job, with the story. It was really like whoa, like nice. Even if you're not a fan of Transformers, you'll like the story of the last days of Cybertron. They had no choice but to leave their world because the last few energons of their planet was going down. They had to reserve this and that, and they're using all the last of the planet's energy to fuel their arc to escape the planet and find a new suitable planet, which they show you how and where they picked planet Earth. And of course there's also some intel here and there to understand more of the story, to get more like inside, which is pretty cool. And now moving on towards the graphics. The graphics are excellent. I gotta hand it to High Moon Studios. The whole metallic scene, they look awesome. The whole environment looks pretty cool. Everything, the guns, the freaking even from the multiplayer, the graphics are great. The Autobots it's amazing how the detailed it looks, when you're damaged or not, and how the transforms are. It's pretty cool, and that's pretty awesome right there. Like the graphics, they're excellent. I liked it a lot. Now moving on towards the sound. The sound is the sound is pretty awesome. It goes well with the Transformers. It's not like metallic, or not metallic. What's that music called? When it's not like techno, like, well, here and there maybe, but mainly like orchestra type of music, maybe classical, baroque, or whatever. But it fits well with the game, because in certain missions, there's like you're being surrounded by these Insectobots, and then the whole music just pumps it up, makes it emotional, and everyone's like, oh, watch out, this and that, which is pretty cool. And the music is it's really good. And not only that, with the voiceover, the voice acting, they got the good old classic Optimus Prime back. They got other very noticeable voice actors. I'll give you Steve Bloom from if you know him. If you don't know Steve Bloom, he's a voice actor for Spike from Cowboy Bebop, Tank Dempsey from Call of Duty World at War Zombies, and etc. etc. And they also got Nolan North from Uncharted 3, and some other ton of games that he does, which is cool because they got all these actors and the voiceovers are pretty awesome and everything. Now let me move on towards the controls. The controls are pretty simple. Circle to switch between sides of the guns, triangle to switch weapons, X is to jump, and R3 is to melee, L3 is to transform or whatever the hell the Autobot or Decepticon is. You could fly, you could jet, you could be a tank. There's a card, which is pretty cool, and it's cool because each level there's each Autobot or Decepticon has their own unique transformer, and the level fits it. That it's just like there's a lot of space, so you're gonna fly over here. You do like flight battles and everything. That's just pretty cool. Or like what's it called? Jazz has that little the slingshot, not slingshot. The hook. There you go. Well, it's like a hook. You could like hook around. No, not hook around. Oh, that's horrible. Or swing around. There you go. Swing, like you could like swing around. It's like kind of like Spider-Man or something like that, but it's pretty cool. It's not as long range. You have a little bit area, which is pretty cool. There's also places where you turn into a small vehicle and you move around. There's also places where you turn into a tank or an airplane and all that, and it's pretty cool. And not only that, there's dinosaurs right here with Warfighter. I think it was a Warfighter or Warfighters, and some other. They had their own little team, and they're a bunch of dinosaurs because they got kidnapped by Soundwave, and they got messed around with the Transformers. And since Soundwave was looking at Earth at their time, which is our time, was the dinosaur, prehistoric times or dinosaurs and everything. So they're looking at our dinosaurs, and that's how they got ideas for the Transformers, which is pretty cool because you become a T-Rex, which is pretty awesome. Your teammates is a rhino, not rhino, freaking rhino. Where was it? I don't know. I forgot all these freaking raptor names. So it's pretty cool. Now like I said before, the controls are easy. They're pretty. Once you get used to the transforming and everything, like, oh man, actually, like, the whole weapons, it's pretty easy. Now there's in-game stores, like no, not like to purchase, or maybe there is. I think there is, but to level up your weapons, you get after you kill like a Autobot or Decepticon, you get their shards, I guess, and you could level up your weapon, and it's universal. So even if you level up a certain weapon with the Autobots, you'll level up. It'll be the same with the Decepticons, which is pretty cool. There's also assault rifles. Their version of assault rifles. There's submachine guns. There's shotguns. There's rocket launchers. There's riot cannons, which is pretty awesome. A bunch of weapons you could pick up along the way, which is pretty cool. I really liked it a lot like that. Now, it's pretty cool. Like, this game, not only that has the campaign. The campaign is solid. I really like the campaign a lot. I was like, whoa, I was hooked to it. I wanted to keep playing, and then when I finished it, I was like, damn, that's it. Damn, I want to play more. Anyways, so not only that, they also have a survival mode, which is called Escalation. So the Escalation is it's a pretty well done survival mode. Basically, you're either Decepticons or Autobots, and there's a whole wave of whatever side you're playing, and there's a whole wave coming at you. There's in total 15 waves. Each wave gets harder and harder and harder, obviously, like in COD Zombies or something like that. And there's also like one final guy, which is like a Titan Autobot or Decepticon, which is it takes a lot of people just to take them down. Otherwise, you're gonna get killed. Not only that, I believe you have 4 lives in total, 3 or 4 lives in total. After that, you're out. What's also pretty neat is that you could join in-game. You could join in-game survival, not survival, escalation matches, which you should probably see. And it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. You can pick up weapons. You could pick up. You could buy weapons. You could buy health. You could buy ammo. And trust me, you're gonna need them. And it's a lot of fun when you're playing games. But one of the things that I really didn't like was it's only 15 waves. 15 waves, and you're pretty much you win, which is like, oh man, it's like that. And that's pretty much it with escalation or survival mode. Now the multiplayer. Now I know you guys are probably wondering, alright, the campaign's good. What about the multiplayer? The multiplayer is awesome. I had a bunch of fun playing that multiplayer, and surprisingly, it's done very well. The maps, in my opinion, they're a little bit too big, but you know, depending what Autobot or Decepticon you get, you know, it should be a breeze going through the the map. Well, like if you're a infiltrator, you're basically a car, so you could just speed around the map. You get there, you know, very quickly. Now, if you're a scientist, you could get there way faster because you're a jet and you could heal your other teammates, which is pretty cool, and it's a lot of fun. You could also customize your Autobot. You know, there's I think three or more different types of transformers or whatever, and you could choose what kind of gun you want, the primary, the secondary, their special ability, like the one you're seeing right now. The one I'm using right now, I believe, has a camouflage, which is pretty cool, which I really like it, and the maps are pretty well designed to the game. Some maps have an open field. You can see a bunch of players flying around with their jet battles or whatever, and then you could like do like an airstrike on the enemies, like, and then you could be a tank. You could bring them down, and like it's a bunch of fun and everything. There's also those you could also be the dinosaur transformer. You could also be the other types of dinosaurs. I don't even know the name. Say T-Rex, and the T-Rex transformer, which is pretty awesome. You can also be the infiltrator. There's also the bigger transformers. You could be the Titan, you could be the Destroyer, you could be well, the scientist, like I said before. And each of them have their own special, you know, the way it transformed. I think the Titan, I believe, is a tank. And I don't know if it's a tank or that's the Destroyer. One of those two. But it's pretty cool. Like if you run out of ammo, you just transform, and you have your third ammo. So yeah, which is pretty cool. It's a lot of fun, and there's also the sprint mode with, I think, unlimited sprint, I believe, but it's a little hard to move around, maneuver, and everything like that. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I give it that. I give it High Moon Studios, you know, props for that, you know, for making it such a good game. Now, in conclusion, you know, the Transformers Fall of Cybertron, you know, many people think that it might be like not a good game. You know, sometimes people get the impression that, oh, it's from the movies, so games from movies they're not that great. You know, they suck. It's all about this and that, and you know, to an extent maybe some games are. But I'm seeing that the developers are pretty serious when it comes to making games from, you know, comics or movies based on, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, like the Amazing Spider-Man, that was a pretty solid game. You know, aside from a few little small bugs in this, it was a pretty solid game. And this one, Transformers Fall of Cybertron, this is a very good game. You know. It's a very good game. The campaign is really good. You know, you get into it. That's also little stuff missions. You know, I gotta say, you know, it does remind me of like Unchartedness. You know, Uncharted, and it was pretty cool. Now, there's not really a lot of bad things, I suppose. The little cover system doesn't really work as well. I suppose there's not really no cover system, which is always pretty like, well, I was like, whoa, I thought there was. But their only cover system is like you stand next to the wall and you just press circle, you switch arms and you shoot, which is it is pretty effective. But I thought it would be more like the cover-based system, like what Uncharted uses, what, you know, Gears of War uses. I thought it wasn't like that, but that's my only small little problem that I have with the game. But overall, you know, the game it's pretty solid. It's a really fun game. The campaign is good. The multiplayer is like, you know, it's really good. The escalation is fun, but aside from the limited 15 rounds, I wish there was like more, like you keep going on. But you know, that's what it is. So you know, I give it you know, my two little ratings. I gave it 2 thumbs up for for this game, and you know, not only that, and I also gave it a 9 out of 10. It's a really good game. You know, it caught me off guard. You know, I was like, whoa, this game is awesome. You know. So there it is, folks. You know, that's my review of the Transformers Fall of Cybertron. You know, I gave it 2 thumbs up, 9 out of 10. It was really just such a great game. You know, if you guys haven't tried it out, you know, I definitely recommend you look at it. It's really fun. The multiplayer is fun. Well, not only that, oh, I forgot to mention that you could only, like, there's 4 different characters you could choose from. You know, the Titan, Destroyer, and Scientist, and Infiltrator. And you can also, you have to level them up individually. You know, because if you only want to use this, that's right. You only grow XP with this character, this and that. So it's just pretty cool. You know, it depends. You might like it, you might not like it. You know, it's on your taste, but I like it. So you know, it's a good game. I like the multiplayer a lot. It's a lot of fun, you know. Especially there's also the game modes Domination, or Conquest in their way. Conquest Headmaster, I believe Headmaster, which is like kill confirm in Modern Warfare 3, but instead you collect their shard and you have to bring it back to some little special place to collect your score. And some other game modes too, like TDM and all that. And so it's a pretty solid game, you know. I really liked it. I enjoyed playing it. So what do you guys think, you know, about this game? Do you guys like it? Do you dislike it? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I want to know. So let me know. Anyways, that's it for me, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Later.
We are losing A. We have captured C. Autobots win the match. We have lost A.